It's still going to be interesting to see because I think stacks are very much going to tail off. Like I think it's going to take again a while to get a feel of how
10
much stacks
seconds
have really been
remaining.
nerfed, but I'm intrigued to see on Neon if they're going to
5
go for their
seconds
own
remaining.
clearer for unknown, or if they, you know, other heroes are going to arrive. The life still, I think the Weaver is a hero that we're going to see a decent amount as time goes on. You know, heroes that don't have the capability to take stacks, but it doesn't matter because they won't fall as behind as much. So Neon, they'll back into the tiny. So 3 melee heroes at the moment. Some flexibility if you want to pick that up to the 4 or the 2, but it's cool that the Blood Rage will enable the tiny though for the burst. They're very squishy on Dreammaker at the moment as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Is it just me, or do you feel like my thought with the changes
5
to the
seconds
stacks is
remaining.
that games are lasting a little bit longer. It might
Yeah.
only be like a couple of minutes on average, but I think it's definitely good that you know, you're not having this TI4 meta where it's just full in all in death ball, and whoever is able to snowball super early on is going to win the game.
I definitely think that's also getting the item, like small little utility items. Echo Saber is a perfect one. We're still seeing a decent amount of it, but I think it might tail off. We won't see as many echoes to transition into a big item. So I think the game's just going to slow down a little bit. You know, Sanjin Yasha was nerfed a little bit too. Yeah, just these like really, you know, cost-effective, smaller items to ramp up the game's pace. I think we'll see. And like, you know, we've already seen some really long games today. But Dreammaker, to an easy to execute combo, a strong lane in the Sand King Mirana. It still doesn't give them someone to really play the front line and kind of tank up as much, but at least you have ways to start fights.
I think it's going to depend on how Neon play, right? Like, if they're all grouped up together, obviously not right on the same spot, because then you run the risk of a Blink Burrow Strike hitting onto multiple. But if you've got the turnaround potential onto the Sand King, then you're not going to get these pickoffs. They've got a great pickoff lineup just with SK, Mirana, and Lion so far. It's going to enable Jara to have that space to be able to farm. I feel like you still need a hero that's going to be able to push out a wave pretty quickly, though. And Storm Spirit's not there, Puck's not there, Lena's not there. You can't pick the Void Spirit, so it's going to have to be something like the Shadow Fiend or an Ember Spirit in my eyes.
For Neon, are you speaking about, sorry?
For Dreammaker.
Okay, yep.
In order to make these eventual smoke rotations not so obvious,
yeah,
that the Lion, SK, and Mirana are making.
It does leave their safe lane a little bit weak as well. Lion Jar is pretty squishy, but we've seen the Flat Cannon build can give you a way to just avoid fights because how you can shove that out. We haven't seen a lot of Spectre, but it's good. I think the laney might be pressured a bit, but if it's going to be a Spectre Pango, then maybe he can just survive the lane. It gives you a great way to offset a lineup that's very reliant on blink initiations, and they don't have a way.
I mean, but the thing is, like, you use the Haunt, Mirana just leaps away. Sand King is at least able to get into his Sandstorm, force the dust out. Lion, if he's quick on the fingers, can get the mana drain off to prevent the Haunt from getting it onto him. So it's not like the best Spectre game so far.
It's not. It could definitely be a comfort thing for Unknown. Of course, a lot of people, a little bit. They don't have the recognition of this player. Still, I guess, you know, is unknown to some of them. Some might say. To keep in mind, he recently played.
Oh wow, you cracked me up.
Well,
it's 1:20 a.m. here. I'll give you a pass.
Yeah. Again, it's those hours, man. You really gotta pull out some of the funny ones. I mean, you're always saying puns too. How are you not giving me some more credit?
That's true.
He played on Team God recently and Team Mystery, so that's more of the recent squads that Unknown has been on, and had a very solid performance. I was impressed with how he played in Game 1. We'll see the Spectres going to be different. Is there a hero now for Dreammaker? Like, do you want a position 2 that has a break almost? Or I guess builds into Silver's Edge, I should say.
Viper, are you?
I should say builds into Silver's Edge. I don't think you go Viper here.
What even is there? You know, like, what mid laner is there left that builds into Silver Edge?
Radiant team pick.
Damn, Rose is gonna have to play a new hero. I think he's played Quap actually.
Pain.
It's not great though. Like, what are you gonna have to deal with a Spectre? By the time Mirana picks up a Spirit Pestle, Spectre should have Manta Style. So I don't think that's going to be incredibly effective at being
10
able to shut her
seconds
down.
remaining.
Dreammaker come online very fast though, and they can execute at a
5
high level.
seconds
Like, how do you
remaining.
kill Quap? You've got no stuns, just the Tiny. And I don't think his lane's going to be good if it's a Makoto Tiny versus the Queen of Pain.
The sack.
Choose your hero.
Somewhat of a stun. It's going to rely on the Tiny to be able to get a decent amount of farm though. And, do you feel like Dreammaker might have taken over too much of the map in the meantime? I feel like that might be the case.
They needed someone to take objectives. I think that's the big thing with the Lesh. Objectives,
Sure.
damage early. What's your thoughts?
But then, like, in order to kill Quap, or anyone, to be honest, outside of the Lion and maybe the Gyrocopter, you're going to need a Blink Dagger on either Jow or Hustler, and that's going to be a little while. There's
Yeah.
support. So Leshrak being able to set up into a stun, it's probably going to be pretty rare for that to happen. Like, he needs the Yule Scepter, but even that's not a guarantee.
Well, okay, so this game's very reliant on Hustler then, on his blink timing. He could be enabled with his burst potential because of the Blood Rage, depending on how when Xiao Yu finds more points in the queue. But I think this game is pretty reliant. Makoto's going to need a Yours for the setup, probably anyway, just because of the Queen of Pain Orchid potential.
Sounds to me like you're favoring Dreammaker.
I am. I prefer, like, it just looks easier to execute. They've got stuns, beautiful way to win games. You've got a Shanking to arrow, line to whatever, early damage.
No defensive disruption to any sort of combos outside of like maybe a Tiny if he's in place. Lots of stuns, lots of ways to get away from Haunt. Pretty decent mid lane matchup with the Queen of Pain into the Leshrac. I mean, I guess if you get the Rupture
Prepare
in
for
onto the
battle.
Quap, you need to be perfect with how you're using your blink for the max range and then sidestepping right at the end to avoid the Rupture damage. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty confident with Dreammaker here.
And this is also a Leshrac without anyone to enable him. Like, I really feel like this hero can... Xiao Yu. You gotta be cautious, man. He likes his all chatting, it seems to be, in the Pro Series. It almost cost him his life there. He's quick enough on the enter key to get away, but okay, well, we'll speak about the Hustler. Tiny needing a good game. At least he'll keep his life. He doesn't have many tangos though.
30 seconds
Might just
to
rely on the tower regen.
A sandy victory.
I don't know. I just really feel like Lesh needs a way to enable him. A support like an Oracle Wyvern. We saw the Abaddon played earlier with Execration, and it looked like, Bob was almost at a stage where he was unkillable for multiple times.
I mean, Zhao kind of is that, right? If you're just able to disrupt everything that Dreammaker might
The
be able to
battle
throw at him, it's just
begins.
as good as having an Oracle, which
Do you reckon?
allows you to just... well, like, what I mean is, having an Oracle means that you can just continue to press forward, right? And you're going to use up all of your mana and do a ton of damage. But if a Pango's rolling through and playing really well, which I feel like Zhao does consistently, then he's going to still be able to get a ton of damage done and use up his full mana pool.
I will agree that I think Genuel had a really solid performance on the Pango last game, even into the rough matchup on the Bloodseeker. So if that's anything to say, like, he's been an exceptional player. And if he can have a very similar performance on the Pango with little items, because I don't know how much he's going to get this game. So we'll see how he can disrupt fights. I mean, Unknowns also at a stage will be able to disrupt fights as well. My issue is the early game and kind of the mid game before the Spectre can really do that. Like, just Radiant's damage early on is so much magical. Now, maybe they can get overwhelmed again by the early timings from like a Blink on Hustler, but where can you see the Tiny getting the gold across the map? Because I don't know if they can rotate mid, and I don't know how many towers they can get.
And I don't even know that this is a kill lane, right? You've got a Bloodseeker and a Tiny. So you can see Hustler, he realizes that you're going to have a rough time into the level 1 homing missile that was revealed from that gank attempt onto the Bloodseeker. and of course the Earth Spike as well. So it's just about manipulating the lane as much as possible to pull it back in front of your tower.
Top lane, though, it's looking like a good start at the moment here from Nevermind and CZY. And once they're able to pick up the levels, we could see some kill prowess come in with the point target stun to set up for the arrow. I feel like this is, like, can Unknown have a decent time here? Is it very reliant on just Genuel continuously pulling the wave back?
I feel like he can have an okay time, but it's just, what is it actually going to result in that's my bigger concern.
Dire's courier has
So you
been
feel like
killed.
even if he has a good time, as long as Nevermind maybe gets his farm for an early blink, then that's still big issues.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, he's still like super early on. Of course, you got the Queen of Pain that's going to be setting up with slows, but it's going to be that blink Burrow Strike that's going to enable a lot of the early game dominance that I feel like Dreammaker should be
Dire's
confident in
courier
having.
has been killed.
Now, how do you feel about this mid matchup? Because at the moment, Makoto's got a bit of a CS advantage and still 2 creeps remaining. Do you feel like this is a bit favored for the Lesh? Because they did pick it into the Queen of Pain.
I feel like you're able to get a lot more out of it, right? Like, the Shadow Strike range is still somewhat short, and Leshrac, you can see he's prioritizing a little bit more into the Lightning Storm just to make sure that he's not committing super heavily when he tries to get onto that range creep.
It's also, against a hero like Rose, he's never going to stay on top of you. Like, melee heroes, you're happy with going more points in Edict. More than likely, this could be a 202 build, and then going back into the Edict to then have ways to take towers at an early stage, but the Lightning Storm at least gives you some way to secure the range creep, you know, maybe some creeps as you're kind of zoned away with the dagger. So, see how Makoto continues to play at the moment, but at least having a solid start. I feel like this is still going to be pretty reliant on the rune control, which can be very much emphasized by the supports.
Yeah. And, well, luckily enough for Nevermind, he's having a great time up towards this top side of the map. Really, not even necessarily pressuring out Unknown. I think he's been doing a good job of dodging out a lot of these Caustic Finale procs, but still, if it means that Nevermind's enabled...
Makoto.
Riskier.
Oh, the arrow just clipped the tail. Thought his speed was fast enough there on the pony, but that is a huge rotation and just furthering the difficult lane that he's soon to be undertaking.
Even getting the D-ward off there from CZY, so any future rotations are going to be made a little bit more difficult as well, even getting the stack off. So CZY doing a great job of rotating through and making life easier for Rose.
Slow. They've tossed back Trezam. So if they can give the kill to Makoto, then you're well and truly happy with that, and you know, he'll be able to find it.
Of your kind have fallen before me.
Okay.
The prize is mine.
Nevermind's gone Earn, so this might force the Murano to play a little bit more around top. Then, you know, we saw that early rotation to mid. Is he gonna opt? Oh, wow, nice arrow.
Dire's top tower.
Do you feel like Nevermind is gonna go into the Spirit Vessel? Or this is just an Earn to kind of help, you know, with the stats and for the lane.
I think it's the stats in the lane, and
Sure.
you've also got a very strong kill combination together with the Mirana, so anything that's just going to assist you with, you know, enabling that is pretty easy. Like, he's just going the value items right now. Going into the wand, he's got raindrops coming out to him. I think there was just a set of tangos as well. Yeah, that's all you really need before you pick up this Blink Dagger.
For the
Try and make him
actions,
as sustainable as possible.
which it looks like he's definitely is at the moment. 2-1-1 build. Might even start to just cut the wave if he wants to even farm the small camp, which I would not hate him do at all. I don't think there's much that Pangoli can do to prevent that, as Genuel is actually just has to mirror the Murano. You make sure you get information where the stacks are, potentially if the Pango is trying to sit up for mid like we saw previously. So as long as you have a little bit of information, then it might prevent the kill on the pony again.
With there. I don't know if Nevermind's going to consider cutting the creep wave and going into that small camp, just because when he was there previously, they dropped the sentry ward. He saw that he got hit a couple of times, so might be a little worried that with the Leshrac eventually hitting up onto the level 6, that he could be in danger of falling down. And he's also got these big stacks started to build up as well. Sure, you could argue that it's for Chidori to be able to claim for yourself, but I feel like if you just gave Chidori the ancient stack as well as whatever hard camp was available at the time, you can feel pretty confident with that. And actually, look at this. He's taking away a big stack that was built up inside the Dire jungle, so never mind. Looking to make an aggressive play. Zhao, at least, I believe, got a couple of those kills, but it's just the net worth continuing to grow further and further.
That's huge to find. Something for Makoto to maybe pick back up, considering he's about 300 gold behind his counterpart. Bottom lane Hustler getting chased down deep. His core down will fall top lane. And they've also got another pick off here as Genuel falling across the map. 3,000 early lead here for Dreammaker.
He's getting close to Blink Dagger, only 800 gold away
Jesus.
at the 7-minute mark. So the lane, he doesn't care that it's pushed in a little bit here. Unknown, he's going to have to back off a little bit. But yeah, Dreammaker putting in some solid performances today.
Duh. And okay, Unknown's going Echo. Would you? I wonder if you'd rather Blade Mail just to give you some way to farm Ancients, because they don't have that at the moment. And there's a lot of...
Plus the fact that you know they're going to run at you, right?
Yeah.
So there's also that potential there. Going for the arrow again. The predictor, CZY, not able to clean it up that time. They're just going to continue moving forward, wanting to make sure that they start hitting the Spectre right as he's at the edge of... oh. Career kill, alright, gets the Sand King close towards the Blink Dagger, forces the Spectre out of the lane. It's often times just as good as a kill, being able to just stop him from farming.
He might look for a kill across the map with Haunt, but they don't have, again, the setup. Like, bottom lane has gone very well for Chidori, who have, I believe they've been stacking up. There's got a double at the hard by the outpost, and a couple at the triangle as well for him to make a farming rotation too.
So are you ready for a 9-minute Blink Dagger on Nevermind?
Well, I don't think Neon are going to be. But taking that stack away was huge. Just gave
I mean,
him
he's
so much
just going to
gold.
look to rotate to... I wonder if they're going to come top or if he's going to look to come mid. Well, arrow in.
This time he...
On to Spec.
Okay.
Well, no rotations either. Probably would have been able to get the cleanup kill onto Nevermind. They're going to try for it on Zhao, or at least get rid of the Urn charges, but oh, you wouldn't want to TP back into this lane and then just get immediately Blink Epi'd.
Yeah, you got to get out of this lane. And that's the thing, like, you don't have a lane and you're going Echo, so you're playing off the back of getting kills, and
See you, Zhao.
well, you can't contest against Dreammaker. They're getting all the kills, and they're going to find an extra one as Hustler. He's just looking to brute force into 4 heroes. This is a game they would very much like to take back, but we saw yesterday that Execration's still down, what, 7,000 gold at a very early stage. Somehow they were able to craft a way back in. But
well, he actually came down to the bot side, and that's where Nevermind and CZY are waiting. They're waiting for the creeps to be able to get low enough that they'll be able to get rid of them. Yep, sets up into the arrow combination perfectly. Even the caustic finale damage from the range creep to be able to ensure they get that super early kill.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Put a point. Yeah, he's got a point in the epicenter as well. So now that he's secured the farm in lane, doesn't need the Burrow Strike, considering he's got the Blink Dagger for the extra closing range. It's all about just being able to put in the damage onto the likes of Makoto or Unknown.
Wow, this is a fascinating build from Rose as well. He's going Sanj and Kaya. So I have to imagine he's just in the belief that we've got so much control that I don't need the Orchid, and I just have to make sure I don't get bursted. Chidori? First Haunt use of the game, and this is a big kill to pick up. Getting something out of the map. And again, the game with Execration against Boom, where they made the comeback, they're able to get just these little pickoffs with big ultimates against the opposition position 1. And
be careful though, I don't think they spotted Nevermind just yet. The Moonlight Shadow wore off just as he was getting into the trees here, so he's looking to set up for anyone that decides to come and defend this, and they will, because it's against a siege creep.
they need to defend the tower.
Look at the pings.
They're going to try and charge up the Rolling Thunder, but instantly Nevermind will answer that with his own combination onto multiple heroes in the backline. They'll rip him apart. Another beautiful use of the ultimates, and Neon, they tried to make an attempt. Zap is not enough. Rose will still pursue, and it looks like with just himself is plenty, and this will now lead into the tier 1 tower. So it was silver linings with a kill top on the gyro, but instantly they hit back hard.
I don't think you even mind giving up that kill on the Sand King either, right? Like, you did your job, you used your epicenter. It's not like you've removed a ton of map threat. Even just allows him to go back to base, pick up his next few items, and it is going to be that Spirit Vessel. You know, you've enabled the pressure onto the map, and yeah, now you can just continue to shut down the Spectre even further.
And this Echo build, everyone loves the item right now. Even though it did get nerfed, we're just seeing it pretty much played on a majority of the heroes, but it's a build that we saw innovated like a couple of months ago, where people were going to fight with the Spectre, and I don't think you're fighting early this game. Like, you need farm, and maybe that's where I don't know, man. I thought Blade Mail was quite dope this game. All the AoE uncontrollable, no one's farming ancients, which mean you're now contesting the rest of the map with 5 heroes.
Yeah, and we've got this rotation squad again. Quap, Mirana, Lion under the cover of smoke. Wonder if they might even be baited into Nevermind here, although he's sitting underneath his Sandstorm. Can look to join the rest of his team really quickly.
And he does. An instant 1-2 punch. As, I mean, even the cloak is not enough to protect Xiao Yu.
It's around the area as well, like, Epicenter's up in 9 seconds, and they just smoke straight away again. Keep the pressure up against this Spectre, it's going to punish him.
Well, they got, maybe the ward didn't see him. Look, get vision of him shortly.
Daytime.
Oh, unknown. Still popped instant Rolling Thunder from Genuel. Can this disrupt a little bit of the damage? Strength Trend's activated, but the edge of the Sonic Wave will just clip. It has given time for... Oh, man, Rose, what an illusion! Dodges out the Split Earth, which will keep his life for a short duration, but still, the toss from afar. Prozam will get the TP out, so nonetheless, Neon... They do find 3, even though some huge individual plays from Dreammaker is not enough.
I think they ended up landing the Rupture onto the Queen of Pain as well, so that ended up being enough to be able to take her down towards the end of that. Even the blink away, not going to be able to do enough to save Rose there.
Tower is under attack.
Just a tiny little misstep, you know, breaking that smoke, enabling the channel to come through from Zhao, and the very quick reaction from Xiao Yu as well to be able to at least salvage something out of that fight. Still though, that's the Spirit Vessel completed. Nowhere near any kind of defensive dispels right now on Neon.
So gonna try and take another fight. Unknown showing up. Trezam the one to start instead of Nevermind. It looks like Chidori wants to join the party too, as Xiao Yu's compromised his position, just getting a little bit too antsy there, feeling they could transition that into a secondary target. But Unknown is also committed down bot with the horn, so Januel just has to put his body on the line. He needs to pop the blink from Nevermind, and yeah, that he will do. So Spectre back to safety.
Bottom tower is under attack.
But this is an all time where Spectre's just needing to run around, you know, she's not doing anything. Going into the Aghanim Scepter next, actually, trying to go for these individual pickoffs, but honestly, I don't know who you kill. Like, the Lion, I suppose. Like, the fact that you're gonna...
Wait, Chidori's been completely ditched down bot. It's just at least able to get out of the blood right range, and instantly Dreammaker beelining it down to bottom. There's another multi-stun on 2 to set up for a beautiful epicenter, man. Nevermind, just having such an exceptional performance here on the Sand King.
I mean, you're already banning out Chidori's Clinks. It feels like Nevermind Sand King kind of needs to be in the same category.
And with how he's looking on it, no doubt, second in net worth. 13 out of the 18 kill participation.
Amazing what you'll find.
8k net worth overall. Win probability, 87%. Feeling pretty confident as Daddy gave it towards Dreammaker's chances, and you can understand why, already having picked up that Kaya as well. And yeah, it feels like mana is really the only thing limiting Dreammaker from being able to continuously push forward, and Rose picks up a regen rune to be able to, just say, you know what? I feel like you haven't spent enough time on Dire's side of the map.
Allies disappear.
The one, I mean, we're reaching, but Radiant are still very squishy. If they heavily commit under a team, under a tower, and somehow they're not able to burst a hero from 4 to 0, it could cost them, because Hustler has Blink now. Genuel's also got about...
Decent timing.
Yeah, surprised, like, considering what's been happening across the map. So, Neon have this turn potential in fights where Dreammaker heavily collapse on one hero and they don't burst him down from 100 to 0. So I mean, it's going to be difficult, so we'll see if the execution is perfect on it doesn't even have to be perfect, as long as it's like 80%, even that.
But if you don't execute perfectly, now you've got a little bit of that fail-safe, because CZY has finished up a mech, so he's going to be able to quickly join into the team fight, pop that off, and prevent some of this turnaround damage coming from that I'm sure Hustler's going to try and put out here. And not even getting baited into this. They realize that, you know what, they've been playing scared the entire map. There's no reason that Zhao Yu would be looking to put himself beyond the tower unless he has the rest of his team backing him up.
This is at least nice for Dire, the fact that they can take a tier 1 bottom. I don't believe they'll defend top, but any little...
No glyph.
Okay, they're coming. Let's see if the Hustler Blink reveals enough, and in fact, Dreammaker a little bit worried right now. Scam will connect. They're just looking to control the higher ground, and this is time that Neon are not farming, and it's also time for the BKB showing.
Claiming multiple camps here is Chidori. BKB picked up. Who's going to run into who, though? Rose, I believe... No, actually didn't end up popping that smoke coming through from Makoto, but the Diabolic Edict's going to reveal everything.
Jump in, drop shot. They didn't get the toss back. Definitely was the damage they were needing, and CZY again on point with these arrows. And now Makoto's going to be cautious. They used the Finger of Death early. It's just still enough burst to go through the Leshrac before there's any reactions, and now they're going to try and double back and take Roshan.
I don't even need the Sand King for that. He was just sitting on the sides with Nevermind, with a Blink Dagger Epicenter available, and yeah, going straight into this Rosh. Again, I don't know what the purpose of this Aghanim Scepter is for the Spectre. Like, you need to see the Lion, I suppose, to try and go onto him, so he's probably not going to be able to get that that Mana Drain or the Hex off onto the Illusion. But even then, like, they've been playing so much around each other that I feel like you could just be baiting yourself into dying.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Oh, okay. Disassembled the Echo for it. He's gonna go.
That's the value that you needed, though? Like, the reason why you would go it over a Blade Mail? I'd still much prefer the Blade Mail this game.
Potentially. Definitely. Yeah, there's the argument for it. Because it's always nice have like the capability you have with the Echo. Like, it just frees up your item progression so much afterwards. Well, here we go. Control for CZY.
I mean...
what's a cooldown? It's not long.
It's low. It's like 30 seconds, I think.
We did see China whenever they were... It was mainly God King, I believe, going for it. We didn't see a lot of Spectre when we were casting I-League, but it looked pretty solid. Now, they weren't this far behind.
They weren't this far behind, and it was against heroes like, you know, the Oracle, or the Bane, or the Wyvern, or, you know, these types of ones that are a little bit more vulnerable if you just get right on top of them.
I think Lion can be that hero in a little bit. I don't know about now, because I think if Spectre commits in a fight, he doesn't have the damage to burst the Lion from like 4 to 0 and then get back out. I think it's like maybe... I don't know if it's too early of a pickup. We'll see the involvement he has. I feel like it's just he needs to create chaos in fights, and the Haunt does quite a lot of that. Is the Aghanim's going to provide that too? You know, it's going to be interesting on Unknown.
Coming from
Can they get the toss back? There we go. Rupture damage is plenty for Rose, but he'll just turn Sonic Wave onto multiple heroes. You see the overwhelming damage is too much for Neon to deal with, and Well, Genuel and Makoto trying to get out to safety. The BKB's expired, so Chidori's still got to be cautious of the Lestrax damage, but the hood's already been used, so the defensive factor is not showing right now on the Fairy Pony. And Neon, again, just overwhelmed with the massive amount of magical damage.
Yeah, massive amount of damage, and Rose going down there, even though CZY was a little bit away from the mechanism, still gets a value use of it onto the remaining 4 heroes. And that's another tower claim to a 14k net worth lead. And, you know, if at all it costs is your Queen of Pain, I think you're very happy. I like the fact that they've got this set strategy of no one's going to be a straggler, no one's going to be farming in the jungle, only the gyrocopter. And it's even in that situation, it's only going to be in a situation where, you know, you can quickly look to join the rest of the team.
I think Quap doesn't live there as well without Kyra and Sanj. Like, we're really seeing how beefy she actually is, which is surprising. I mean, Essence Ring, of course, is going to help out, but again, it's such a cool itemization choice for Rose. He's even gone Aghanim Shard super early on.
They're going to find here.
Oh, Makoto's big. He's got Unknown behind him. Not much the Spectre can really do. So no need the Sand King to set up for the arrow. The measly old lion. And man with the saggy boobs is enough.
Why you gotta do him like that?
Dude, he's got saggy boobs.
He's been in quarantine, you know?
Again, because I was watching back through all the any major drafts and Slacks was having a go at him for a while. There was one panel they were they had some time to roast the lion.
There's no body shaming here, alright?
Radiant structures
If you want a body shame, just look at Hustler's profile picture.
Oh, is that the Pepe? Dude, that's such a... Pepe's still by far top tier. Top tier. Shazam?
Oh,
Good
no,
detection. Who they found? Now Tiny as well. Oh, Hustler.
The Pepe was too far forward. They got a minute left on this Aegis as well. And the Satanic on Chidori. Just keep pushing.
Sieging's a bit hard. Blood Riot with constant spam.
I mean, now's as good a time as ever though, right?
Yep. Then Jiayu's revealed his hand. They're gonna drop the Sonic Wave as well as the core down, and now Makoto is gonna have to push further and further inside the base. Rose trying not to give him an opportunity to. They've got the Rupture. Maybe Rose will get caught. They need the toss to push him back and get the bleed damage. It's not going to come through, though. In fact, it's just never mind. Another beautiful epicenter, ripping them apart. And Neon, I mean, they're trying to craft their way back into this game. They've made attempts left, right, and center. It's been cute plays with the Rupture into toss, but it just feels like it's not enough. As yeah, the G's are called. Makoto's going to be the one to call it quits here as the Open Qualifier team taking a 2-0 victory against Neon.
Radiant victory.
Very solid performance coming out from Dreammaker. I was thoroughly impressed all throughout. It's a little bit of a shame that Unknown's first stint as a stand-in for this lineup didn't go as well as he might have expected. Some good moments in game number 1, but he never had a chance in game number 2 with the draft that he was up against. And, you know, you mentioned it perfectly. They had a decent timing on Hustler's Blink Dagger, but by that point, the net worth lead had just grown way too large. I think it was at the 19-minute mark, and what was the net worth looking like at that point? I feel like it was about 8k or so.
Yeah, at 90 minutes, you said? Yeah, it was about 8k at that stage.
Yeah. So, way too much to have to deal with, and yeah, just continuing to keep their foot on the pedal, punishing heavily. Never mind Sand King. I mean, it's something that a lot of teams are going to need to consider for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we've seen... I'm really starting to get too much bias towards the Sand King Mirana. Like, we saw a lot through our time doing low division. Like, teams were just picking this up and they were securing lanes, securing games, and that was an incredible... What, you said like 9-minute blink timing? Something ridiculous?
Yep.
You get it out. Like, that's just... Of course, it's enabled. He took a very huge stack away from Neon, but this was just, unfortunately... I feel like we were both favoring Dreammaker heading into it. It felt like their lineup was just a bit easier to execute. Everything had to go well for Neon, and you know, when your margin of error is so minimal, you see what can happen. Like, this game can end in 24 minutes where it could have even ended 5-8 maybe a little bit less, 3 minutes earlier, so to say. It was just the Open Qualified team. They're really making some incredible showings here through the group stages, not just Dreammaker, but Yangon and Galacticos as well. And still, I have to bring it up, like a lot of people are expecting these two teams to more than likely be the ones eliminated. But right now, Neon, they need to get some series victory, and they need them fast. They're currently at the bottom of the table now, 3-7. I don't know if that's
3-9, I think, actually. Yeah. So it's 3-9. Who have they got left to play? Galaxy Racer, Yangon Galacticos, and Polaris. So those are all teams sitting kind of towards the bottom of the board. So
Yeah.
those are the
Must wins.
standard 8-point games that I'm keep talking about, where a win where you're beating an opponent that also needs a win is kind of worth double. So that's going to be it for us tonight. There are only 3 series, so even though we started a little bit later, we're also ending a little bit later. So there's balance in all things.
Yes, there's balance in all things. We're loving ending later. 2:00 a.m. finish for us. But again, we're back tomorrow for best of 2, starting 2 hours earlier. We got Galaxy Racer against Neon, and then Galaxy Racer against Army Geniuses, Execration versus Yangon, and Polaris versus Dreammaker as well. If you guys want the schedule, of course, Liquipedia has all your needs. But with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow for more BTS Pro Series Season 8 action.